Oh, all right.
Good morning, my friend. There we go. Welcome to First World Third Rails podcast. Your host, Marlon Taylor, aka Mayhem, aka Mr. Disruptive, with his partner in crime, JD. How you doing, brother?
Oh, hey, bud. Can I just call you disruptive? Hey, disruptive.
You can call me whatever you want. Uh, Shout out this morning before we get started. This is going to be a little bit of a rough morning for you, but that's okay.
For
Before we
me,
get, yeah,
for me personally,
for you personally. Before we get started, shout out over my shoulder,
myself in here.
Mount St. Helens, 43 years ago today, erupted in the state of Washington. So my little commemorance to Mount St. Helens.
Hey, question. Could you get a still image of Mount St. Helens erupting?
I have one, I believe, somewhere.
Would
I
that
have
be
a
a good background for you,
uh,
disruptive?
disruptive disruptive eruption. Uh, how you doing this morning? First and foremost, how's it going?
Uh,
How's the East Coast today? How's my people in the DMV?
it's a beautiful day. It's a
Good to
beautiful,
hear. Good to
and
hear.
all the kids are well, knock on wood, and my beautiful bride is at work.
Awesome. Awesome.
I went out and I mowed a little bit.
Uh, I did that yesterday.
Well,
Which is why.
you know what I have. I have a new favorite thing,
What's your new favorite thing?
a push mower.
Oh well, I've had that for years.
No, no,
Um,
no, no, no. It's not gasoline.
oh
You
no,
just
that
push and it
that I
goes.
haven't had for years. I'm still burning emissions into the carbon emissions into the
Well, here's
atmosphere.
why it's so great because I can just walk out and start mowing. So I'll do a stripe or two, and then I'll do something else.
Now I get it all done in one swoop. But
That's what I used to do, but I don't have to do that anymore. I mow about a tenth of the yard every day.
no, I'm not going to do that. Uh, but you do you.
No,
Hey,
I'm not.
listen. To give whatever viewers are joining us today, and warning, housekeeping warning, because of what I'm going to do today, we may go slightly over. So for those of you, if we go over, that if you hang with us, we appreciate you. If you don't hang with us, we understand. But this conversation has to happen today, and it's a follow-on. So
So
let
it's
me
is it
let
a
me
third rail of sorts?
beyond the third rail. Let me set this up and give context, and let me start in doing so by saying this. Opinions are like rear ends. Everyone has one, and typically I try and respect the opinion of others. At its most basic level, that's a premise I've lived by. But when you're wrong in your opinion, you're wrong. And I'm going to call you out. If I'm wrong in my opinion, I'm going to call myself out. You and I had a conversation earlier this week about John Morant. While I tried to respect the position and opinion you had, I told you that you were, one, wrong in the opinion, and two, most importantly, you were way outside of the wheelhouse on your opinion.
I was getting out of my lane
You were way out of your lane on your opinion.
because it's about sports.
I've got a video that I want to share this morning. This video, and the reason I'm doing this, because this video took place last night. As you know, the Miami Heat were in game one against the Boston Celtics at the Boston Garden last night. The Heat won. Well, that's a whole nother subject in what transpired in that game. But as in keeping with tradition, the Inside the NBA TNT crew Ernie Johnson, Kenny the Jet Smith, Charles Barkley, and Shaquille O'Neal, they hit the road for the Eastern Conference Finals. So they'll be in Boston. They were in Boston last night, Boston tomorrow night. Then they'll shift to Miami when the series shifts to Miami. They broadcast on location instead of in the studios in Atlanta. Last night, Ja Morant came up, and I want to play that video for you. It's not a long video, but it's not a short one. It's really imperative that you, of all people, hear this conversation. Got a car alarm going off. Somebody's stealing the car. All right, here we go.
Is that the car you haven't driven in 3 years?
That's the kind of my Infinity that I haven't driven in forever. Oh, hold on.
Fancy pants Audi.
Hold on. Pardon.
Pardonnez-moi. Okay,
Right.
can I ask you a favor?
Yes.
Let's pause for the cause and recap what our basic difference is before you play the video.
Okay.
All right, so my premise was that when Ja Morant was captured on video brandishing a weapon in Tennessee, that there are no gun laws governing permits or registration. So he did nothing illegal and he did nothing immoral. That was my posture. And then, as I recall, your primary point was that he had signed a contract with the NBA, and as a result of signing the contract with the Memphis Grizzlies, which are part of the NBA, he then would have certain responsibilities. And I think we mutually agreed he did not satisfy his responsibilities, and so he will be penalized by the NBA. Now, the next aspect that we disagreed on, as I recall, is I said with great confidence, given my vast knowledge of all sports matters, that he would be playing for the Memphis Grizzlies in the future. And we went back and forth, and you said he has one more shot, and I said, well, maybe, but I'm very confident he'll be playing for the Grizzlies. So that was kind of what we went back and forth on. Is that an accurate recap?
That's pretty accurate. Now, are you ready?
Yeah. Right.
Gotta make sure that box is checked. Share screen.
TD Garden, the site for Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals here on TNT. Welcome back, everybody. Let's talk about some news that's been front and center in the NBA. Let's start with Ja Morant. Because we've seen again another incident here this month. Instagram Live, apparently brandishing a handgun, and so Kenny, you tell me, what would be appropriate punishment?
Well, I think before we get to punishment, Ernie, I think we need to understand the situation and the levity of the situation. A lot of people say, well, you know, what did he do? He flashed a gun. Some people are going to say there, and then other people are saying, hey, this guy is flashing a gun, and that's serious offense. The NBA has a morality clause that in everyone's contract. Let's start there. That expresses about violence, racism, all types of different things that can be considered morality. Flashing guns will be part of that. And when Adam Silver brings you in the office and says, we're going to suspend you a game, and this is part of the morality clause, why you're going to do it, then you do it again. There's something wrong with you. I hear a lot also, Charles and Shaq, about, oh, he's got to get new friends. It gets to a point, it's not your friends, it's you. It isn't your friends. Or maybe you're the friend that they shouldn't be around because you have the access, the power, and the money. And Ja Morant is just at a point in his life where he has to make a decision. Am I going to hold myself accountable to a higher standard? And if he chooses to do that, he can move on because he hasn't hurt anyone to this point yet. He has only looked foolish. That's his only crime right now, is being foolish and possibly influencing NBA followers. The next step is something happens. And because he's putting himself in a world where you're saying, I'm flashing guns because I'm going to use them. And there are people out here in this world that look for target people like Ja Morant. It's okay. You want to be that? Let's see if you're really about that. Because you do have a lot of access that we don't have. those people in those world. And that's where John Moran has to make that decision himself. So punishment is always going to be accountable, whatever he gets from Adam Silver. But his inability to understand that it's him, it's not his friends. So I don't want to hear everyone talk, oh, his friends, and he needs it. It's him who's making that decision. And we've all had friends that are influenced positively and negatively.
Well, first of all, I got to say something, man. We got some idiots, some fools, some jackasses on television that really just piss me off, talking about Josh should make a stand saying he didn't break any laws. He didn't do anything wrong. We're in a state where you can carry your gun. Those guys are just freaking idiots. And I only say freaking because y'all won't let me say what I want to say. It
We
just,
know what you're for.
It pisses me off when I hear guys say that, yo, man, when you're making $100 million a year to play sports, your life changes. There are certain rules and regulations you have to live by, plain and simple. You can't do stupid stuff. That's the trade-off. Now, if you want to do all that stuff and give all that money back, more power to you. You can make that stand. Say, you know what, I want to do what I want to do. I want to flash my gun and make videos and do things. Okay, that's fine. But you can't make money on the NBA doing this stuff. I just hope that he grows up and realizes, like, yo, man, first of all, you're not a thug. You're not a criminal. You're not a crook. You're a guy making $100 million a year to dribble a stupid, $200 million to dribble a stupid basketball. And you hit the lottery. We all hit the lottery to do something. There's people out there work 9 to 5, 8 and 9 hours a week, gonna make $25,000 a year. They would kill to be in our situation. And, you know, Kenny's right. At some point, it's not your friends. Bill Parcells used to always say, and I love it, he says, yo, man, you just an unlucky dude. Bad stuff happen around you all the time. You just an unlucky dude. No, man. You got to look in the mirror and say, yeah, you know what? Maybe I'm the problem. And it's disappointing because the kid's a great player, but to be a fool already, then be a bigger fool a couple months later, and this is like your 5th or 6th gun thing. And like I say, hey, I'm a gun guy. But I don't understand why you're flashing it. My bodyguard teaching me, man, if you touch your gun, you better shoot somebody. It ain't for everybody to know you got. And he riding around with, I guess he think he with Antoine Fuqua and Steven Spielberg. You got your friends, quote friends, filming you. They're idiots too. And I'm just sad, Ernie, because it's a bad look.
It's disappointing. I'll get to you in a second, Shaq. I think it's disappointing too, given the fact that after that first meeting with the commissioner and a very contrite-sounding John Morant after that, look, I have to learn from this and I have to move on. And
Ernie, there's a lot of contrite people in prison right now that could give you a great story.
Can I finish? And that's what's disappointing. The conduct is disappointing, and I just feel like he's tried to put a foot in two worlds. And when you try to put a foot in this one, and in this one's almost like you got a foot in this boat and a foot in this boat, and it's gonna end in a bad way.
No question.
I said last time, we can do things to put ourselves in jeopardy. You know, last time the incident happened, there was a mistake, and I'm trying to explain to people there's a difference between a mistake and a choice. Oh, that's a mistake. But if I think about it and decide to punch you, that's a choice. He made a choice to pull his phone out the first time when he in the club with no shirt on, to hit the live button, wait for it to connect, and do what he did. His friend made a choice the second time to hit the live button. He saw the camera in his face. He made the choice not thinking. He has to understand there's written laws and unwritten laws. Do what you like, right? But Chuck makes a great point. Kenny makes a great point. And a lot of people arguing, a lot of these idiots arguing, they never heard the term morality clause. But you're in a $1 billion corporation now. You can't do that. That's an unwritten law. You can't do that, right? You can't do it. And not only that, you got kids looking up to you, brother. Kids want to be like you. Ever since the absence of the other guy, they're talking about you having the highest selling sneaker. Like you have a responsibility, right? You know, Charles, when he was saying I'm not a role model, he's not a role model, but one thing I like about Charles is he's honest. He says what's on his mind, and he's a kind person. So when you're in that position, You got a responsibility. And again, the 2 times that got himself in trouble, him and his boy made the choice to show the world what he was doing. You don't hit that button, we don't know what you're doing in Memphis.
Yeah, I agree with Shaq in that regard.
We don't know what you're doing in Memphis.
And he hit another point. Most of the people that's going to talk about this, with the exception of maybe these 2 guys up here, and in some part, I could take some part of that, have never been responsible or solely responsible for a multi-billion-dollar corporation. If Shaquille O'Neal gets hurt when he's a Los Angeles Lakers, the Lakers lose billions of dollars. If Ja Morant does something, the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA loses. No one talking has ever been in that position. And unless you've been in that position, you understand the responsibility that comes with that, other than only the written law, what Shaq says.
And Ernie,
And not only-
go ahead. In part of our life, there's things in our contract, like simple things, not even getting to the gun thing. Hey, you can't skydive. You can't ski.
Yes.
You can't skydive. You can't ride a motorcycle. And every fool at home would say, wait, y'all gonna give me $100 million and all I gotta do is not drive around with a gun, no motorcycle, no skiing. Like, oh, I want that job. And that's part of the stuff. But, man, I'm seeing these fools on television talking about he should hold his ground, talking about I didn't break any laws. I'm like, see, you guys ain't never made no money. So y'all can say, I want to make a point. Hell no, I want that $100, $200 million.
And my last point, to come from where we all come from, to have little kids scream your name and look up to you, you should understand that. That's power. That's real power. So now, also in the communities that we live in and things that we go through, when a kid looks up to you, you're the reason he's going to get out. You know why I'm here? Dr. J. You know why I'm here? Charles Barkley. You know why I'm here? When I was in San Antonio, David Robinson. I could have done all that stuff, but because those guys right there, how they conducted themselves, how they play, it made me want to do it. So John has to realize that, him and his family, you got all these kids looking up to you, just do the right thing.
Great discussion, you guys. Very, very good stuff. And we'll await
And stop hitting that damn
from the
live
league,
button.
from Commissioner Adam Silver as to what the next step
And
is
stay off live.
in regard to
Stay off the internet, fools.
Well, everything there completely echoes what we were saying. It's
No,
identical.
no.
And I align with all of them.
No, it
except
doesn't. No, it doesn't. Because you said, and I quote, he hasn't broken any laws. And
That's
I
correct.
was screaming at you that there is a morality clause that he
Oh, we
signed.
never argued about that. We mutually agreed he was going to lose some money. You said specifically if he didn't make the All-Pro or All-Star or something, he was going to lose
He's already lost 39 million. He's already
39
lost
million. So we're mutually
that. He's already
agreed. I'm
lost,
okay
he's
with
already
that.
lost that. I'm talking
But
about what
let's
he's
be
going
clear.
to-
Let's
I'm
be
talking about-
clear. Charles
talking-
Barkley was like, everybody out there who thinks that he didn't break any laws is an idiot.
No,
but he
what he
Break
what, no,
any
no,
laws.
no, no,
And
no,
then he
no,
went on to
no,
say
no,
there's
no,
an unwritten law, and it's like it's not even unwritten. If you sign the contract, there's a morality clause. We
Yes.
never argued about the morality clause. We never argued about
Oh,
the
you did. Don't
We
make me go
never
back and pull.
argued about him losing money.
Don't make me go back and pull the tape because you argued that point.
what. Okay, be precise. I argued what point?
That there is no I think your blanket statement was there is no morality. And I
Oh,
said
I did, but it wasn't relative to the clause. We're mutually agreed the clause exists whether we do or not. What I'm saying is that this is not a morality play. And all of them are like, well, you know, he broke the unwritten rule and he's going to influence kids who are watching
but
the
he had,
NBA. And
had
any
a-
one of them, if you go out and you say, I'm going to give you an opportunity to make $200 million, all you have to do is just not drive around with your gun out, they'd take that bet. And it's like, blah, 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 big damn deal. I said that it's not a moral issue. It is a corporate image issue.
if
And
it's
corporate image is
if-
something that John
if
Morant
it's-
or
if
any
it's-
participant is willing to, let me finish my thought and then I'll shut up.
all right.
Anybody who has said, I signed this contract, there's a morality clause and the NBA's image and my personal health are factored into this contract. If I do these things, I'm going to lose money, possibly be thrown out of the NBA. But then they go on to make statements like, he can't do that. And it's like, oh, yes, he can. And he did. So a lot of this, in my estimation, I completely agreed with every aspect of it, except where they go, there's morality involved. There's not morality.
Because, yes, it's in the contract.
Yeah, it's a morality clause. That is a behavior clause. That's an image clause.
It's in the contract.
But it's not morality. The concept of morality relates to things that are right and wrong. And what they're saying is that
JD.
this is wrong for the
JD.
NBA. And I'm not going to
JD.
argue that. It's
JD.
wrong for the NBA, but it's
JD.
not illegal and it's not immoral. No
JD.
carry, no
JD.
permit, no
JD.
problem.
JD.
What? We're
It
actually
is,
agreed on this.
it is specifically cited in the
Hartley's
contract.
just pissed off. He's like, if I'd made $200 million, I would have done all the things that I already
It
did,
is
but I didn't get a title. He's just pissed because Morant gets all this money, and then
this is one of the few times where you're dead wrong and you're unwilling to admit it. It is.
I'm not
Let me
wrong
speak. I
about
let you
anything
go.
we're
I let you
discussing.
go. I let you go. Let me speak. It is specific. It is specifically cited in the contract
Agreed.
as a morality clause.
Agreed.
So you can't say it's not a morality issue if the clause is in the contract.
From a corporation.
It
Corporations
doesn't matter.
don't
It
have a
doesn't matter.
damn
It
thing to
doesn't
do with
matter.
morality.
It doesn't matter.
There is not a moral corporation, therefore they cannot regulate morality. They can have a morality clause which governs their image.
Let's just agree that you're wrong. Let's move forward. You're dead wrong. I just gave you Exhibit A as to why you're wrong, and you still refuse to accept it. It's not a.
They were
it's
all
not-
offering these things we
it's
call
not a
opinions.
It's not a behavioral clause. It's not a.
We're
a-
agreed. It's
not a
you're going to get
religious
fired
clause,
clause, or you're
it's
going
a
to have your money
moral
reduced
clause.
clause.
It's
I
a-
didn't say there wasn't a morality clause. I'm just saying that corporations are not a moral authority. They can have something that says these are the behaviors we want you to maintain
look, you
and
can-
call a morality clause, but it still is not
You can
morals
make-
based.
you
It's
can-
image based.
You can make that argument if you want. It doesn't change the fact that the clause in the contract is based on morals. Whether
It's
the
just
NBA,
named a morality clause. You
Whether
can't
or
have
not-
an immoral.
whe-
A corporation cannot have morals, and they
Whether
cannot
or
put
not-
morals on anybody.
whether or not you view the NBA or any other corporation as being moral is irrelevant.
There is no such thing as a moral corporation.
Fine. What's in the contract is a clause that speaks to moral issues.
We're agreed.
So he violated that, which is immoral.
He violated the image of the NBA, and they both said it. They said, hang on, watch this. They all said, if his homie hadn't clicked the camera and started recording, we wouldn't have known what went on in Memphis.
We wouldn't have known anything.
Right. So it's an image issue. The issue is not that it occurred.
He
it's
doesn't
that
have
it
an. He
recorded,
doesn't
and it
have.
reflects poorly on the NBA.
He
It's
does
an
not.
image clause.
He does not have an image clause in the contract, JD. It's a morality clause.
Morality clause. They called it a morality
You
clause.
can
The
argue.
church does stuff like
you
that.
can argue what you perceive.
All
the
of these
NBA,
works of men and organizations.
You can
and for-profit
argue.
corporations, they get to use the English language and they can call it a morality clause.
You can argue what you perceive the NBA to be all you want. You can do that all day long. Knock yourself out. It does not change
I'm not going to do it all day.
facts. It does not change facts here. And the fact is, he had a clause in his contract that was based on morals that he violated. Now,
You're saying because it's called a morality clause that it's based on morals. It's based on image.
you can make the argument on what
I'm not arguing.
is it
I'm just
referred to,
saying
is it referred to as an image clause? No.
No, we call it a morality clause because we're moral. Yeah. Fuck you. So John Morant, in my estimation, did nothing wrong. And
Then
the
Chuck-
NBA is
Chuck-
within its rights. The
Chuck-
NBA is within its
Chuck's-
rights to enforce their contract.
Chuck's description of you is 100% accurate then.
Say what, Joe?
Chuck's description of you that he gave in the
That I'm an
video
idiot? That's
Yes.
fine. I'm
Is
okay
accurate.
with that.
is accurate.
I'm okay with that.
I still
Because
love
you know
you.
why?
I still love you, but Chuck is right.
He says I'm an idiot.
Yes.
I'm going to say that he has a simplistic
No,
perception.
he has a
Of the
20-year experience of playing in the league and representing that league as a representative of the
You're
league.
beating me to it because that's what I was going to say next. I was going to say his entire life is wrapped up in the NBA. So he
So
is
he,
an
it is in,
representative, a
it is,
participant.
it
He
is
exists
directly,
because of the NBA. So
he
you're
is-
not going to get any type of
he is
dispassionate overview of
qualified,
the situation from
he is-
somebody who's so closely aligned with the NBA.
he is qualified
You
to
made my
make
point
that,
for me.
he is qualified to make that statement because this is right and directly in his lane. And he's 100% correct. This
He's
is-
qualified to make statements about the NBA. I'm qualified to make statements about humanity.
He's qualified to make statements about humanity, which he just did, as it relates to this issue.
Well, you know what? There are over 400 million firearms in the United States. There are more firearms than there are citizens.
Nobody's
and people
arguing
are
that.
Flashing guns all over hell's half acre.
Nobody's arguing that.
Right. And in a state like Tennessee, it is not immoral and it is not illegal. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying John Morant, the human being, did nothing immoral or illegal. We're mutually agreed that he signed a contract with the NBA and he's going to pay a penalty for it. But my statement, the only place where we differ is the NBA is going to bust its ass to keep him on the floor.
You're wrong.
We're waiting to see the outcome.
You're wrong,
If he
JD.
got
You're
one
wrong.
principle.
You're wrong.
Now,
And
listen to this. Charles
here's what-
Barkley.
here's
Charles
why-
Barkley said this is his fifth or sixth, and I think he just made that up out of whole cloth.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
So
no,
you're
he didn't.
saying there are a half dozen
Yes.
reported incidents of
Yes.
John Morant,
Yes.
and you're saying the NBA while he was in the NBA.
Yes.
All right, so he's on to his sixth one, and the NBA still hasn't punted his ass.
Well,
Which
because
makes
you,
my point.
do
That they're
pro-
going to do
do-
everything they can. They're going to do things like
JD,
the
JD,
second one.
JD.
Yes. Yes,
The latest incident happened on Saturday,
I'm down with that.
May 13th. We're at May 18th. As bad as that infraction and violation of the morality clause in his contract was, he still afforded due process. So the league has to
That's
go.
fine. That doesn't change any aspect
But
of our
you just-
dialogue.
You just said, it's his sixth one and they haven't punted his ass. It just happened. He's afforded due process. So the
Charles
league,
Barkley said he's already done.
the league
got
still
six.
has,
He
the
said this
league,
is the fifth or sixth one. I'm saying if this is the fifth or sixth one, that proves my point.
he's still entitled to due process.
I'm not arguing he's not entitled to due process. That's a straw man. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Yeah, it has everything to do with it.
No, we're mutually agreed. He has due process from the NBA. He doesn't require it from the state of Tennessee because he didn't do
No.
anything.
No. So give the league a chance to complete and afford him his due process.
Oh, and when they do, they'll take some of his money, but he will not be kicked out. That's what I'm saying. I'm not arguing that. I'm predicting that. You're predicting that he won't be kicked out this time, but the next time he will pull a gun and then he'll be kicked out, which by definition would be the seventh time.
Here's what I believe. I'll put it under the heading of belief. I actually know, but I'm gonna use the proper terminology and say, here's what I believe. This is what I know, but I'll use the word believe. John Morant is going to be sat down by Adam Silver for a minimum of half of the 82 games next year.
That makes
Half.
perfect sense. Okay, I'm happy. That makes sense to me.
Between now and the start of the season, if John Morant adheres to the guidelines in his contract, it'll stay at half. But if he violates any clause in his agreement with the NBA and his code of conduct and his contract, between now and the start of the league, he's done. He's done.
Okay. Everything you said made perfect sense, and you are correct. You're more knowledgeable about anything related to the NBA than I am. So I'm not going to argue with you about that. The only thing I'm predicting is that he's never done. That's all I'm predicting. Now, you don't have, you can say I'm wrong, but I'm not yet proven wrong.
No, you are not yet proven wrong.
Right,
But
that's all I'm asking.
here's why I'm arguing your point, because you made the point you made. I'm going to flip back
I
to
agree
you.
that what you said made perfect sense, and you're a smart guy.
Thank you, and as are you. But here's why I'm pushing back on your point, because of what you actually said at the outset of this discussion. Contract aside, you're 100% right. This is an image issue. And so you violate your clause again between now and the start of the season. I'm saying he's done because of what you are saying. It is an image issue. Yes, he generates money for the league, but the NBA can ill afford this image issue. Ill afford. And they know this. Adam Silver knows this.
It's a trade-off of money versus image and how much
And
they
Adam
think they
Silver's
can
not going to make that
Now,
trade-off,
the
regardless of
issue
who you are.
is they can tolerate more if they make a big stink about it. They're like, well, you and I know we'll never actually ask John Morant to leave the league, but we're going
They'll
to
throw him out of
these
this league.
morality
They'll
clause
throw him
and
out.
we're going to suspend him, and we're going to look good irrespective of what this guy does.
They will throw John Morant out of this league. And
Did they throw Artest out?
I'm not going to say that's a bad example. I'll give you a better.
It's the malice in the palace. It's the thing that changed.
He got
the
suspended.
NBA
He got
forever.
suspended
Did
a
they
year.
throw him out?
He got suspended a year, and ultimately he did leave the league.
Yeah, but he left the league under his own power after being
Bad
suspended
example.
for a year.
Bad example. Bad example. Better example.
A real life example of something.
Better example is Gilbert Arenas.
With the guns. Okay, let's do that. That's a good one. What happened with Gilbert Arenas?
Is he playing in the league?
Wait a second.
Is he playing in the league?
It's fucking immaterial. He's 80 years old.
Is he playing in the league?
Okay, so that's easy to fix. No. Okay, so
Okay.
was he
That ends that
suspended?
discussion.
Yes.
That ends that discussion.
He was suspended. Okay, all right. So hang on a second here. What do we got? Okay, how many times has John Morant?
Gilbert Arenas, his career from that incident in Washington was irreparable. And
I'm
that
not
is-
going to argue that it was
You
reparable.
can't argue that. You can't argue it because it's fact.
Okay, hold on. What happened to Gilbert Arenas
Oh God.
after Brand? No, I'm asking you for facts, and neither
I
of us
just
knows
gave,
the
I
facts.
just gave you one. I just
You
gave
said
you one.
he.
We'll see. We'll see
You
what
said
happens.
he go along the lead. We totally
We'll see-
agreed.
We'll see what happens with John Morant. You gave the analogy to Meta World Peace, which I said was the wrong analogy because that's comparing apples to oranges. Gilbert Arenas was essentially blackballed from the league
All right.
from bringing guns into the locker room of the Washington Wizards.
All right. You ready?
His career.
You're going to have
has-
to live with this. You just played a 4-hour recap of Inside the NBA Live, and I sat and listened to it. So you're going to listen to this.
All right.
Gilbert Arenas was suspended indefinitely without pay by NBA Commissioner David Stern on December 4th, 2009, after he brought guns into the Washington Wizards locker room and brandished them at teammate Javaris Crittenden. Arenas pleaded guilty to illegal possession of an unlicensed handgun in the District of Columbia, which is not the case in Tennessee.
No, it is
And
not.
was sentenced to 30 days in jail, which was later suspended. He was also fined $50,000 in order to complete 200 hours of community service. Now, Arenas returned to the Wizards in December of 2010.
Yep.
He retired from the NBA in 2013. He retired. So he was illegal. He broke laws. You're saying it's immoral. It's illegal. It was illegal in the District of Columbia.
It's
He
both.
was not released. He did not get thrown out.
Do you think?
And this is
Gilbert-
much, much
do you-
worse. He's in a region that has gun laws.
Do you-
He's in the locker room with his teammates. He's threatening a teammate. He still was not tossed out. He
Do you-
went back after serving his suspension, and he retired 3 years
Do you
later.
think he would have been allowed back had that been his 5th, 6th, or 7th infraction?
We'll find out.
Do you think Gilbert would have been allowed back had that
No,
been?
hold on. We're talking facts here. Here are the facts. You're
These are-
asking me to hypothesize whether
let's-
Arenas does
okay,
this 6
okay,
times. Will
okay,
he be kicked
okay,
out?
let's
Stay
stick to the
with the
facts.
subject. The subject
stick-
is these are fundamentally different. It was
No, they're
illegal.
not. No,
He
they're
brought
not.
it into
No,
the
they're
NBA
not.
locker
No,
room.
they are not.
One with-
No, they are
They are not the same, and I'm not going to play a game of whether he would have been
You're wrong.
suspended.
You're wrong.
I'm going to
You're
give
wrong.
you
You're
something.
wrong.
If
You're
he
wrong.
did it 6
You're wrong.
times
You're wrong. You're wrong.
in
You're
the
wrong.
District
You're
of
wrong.
Columbia
You're wrong.
in an
You're wrong.
NBA locker room, yes,
You're
he
wrong.
would be
You're wrong.
suspended,
You're
or
wrong.
he would be
You're
shot
wrong.
by a
You're
teammate.
wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong.
No, I'm.
They are one.
I
and the
don't
same.
know. You keep talking about things that are unknowable as facts. We don't know.
Here are the
All I
facts.
know is he broke the law, did it in an NBA locker room. He threatened a teammate,
Is that
and
a
he
violation
resigned
of-
under
is
his
that a
own
vi-
power
is-
3 years later.
Is that a violation of his NBA contract?
I would assume there was a morality clause in 2009.
Simple question. Is it a violation of the contract he signed with the NBA?
We're
You
talking
would
about
have
Gilbert
to
Arenas.
say yes.
Are we saying
because
Gilbert
he was
Arenas?
sus-
Yes, I would imagine it was, which is why
he
he
was
was
suspended.
suspended
Yes.
indefinitely.
Here's another fact.
But then the suspension was lifted and he came back to the Wizards.
And it didn't matter because the damage was done.
We're not talking about
The
what matters,
damage
what
was
doesn't matter. We're
done.
talking about corporate behavior. And I'm saying that the corporation is not going to willfully give up revenue.
We'll see.
They're going to put on a
We'll
big
see.
show,
We'll
but
see.
they're not going.
We'll see.
That's what
We'll
I keep
see.
saying. We're
We'll
going to
see.
find out.
We'll see. I already know. You
You
will see.
can't know.
Yeah, I do.
You keep
Yeah, I
doing this.
do.
You're like, I can
Yeah, I
see
do.
the future. I know what the outcome will be.
I do.
You know what that makes you? That makes you clairvoyant.
Then I am.
Okay. You know what I really would have liked to talk about?
Because the
I want to
NBA,
talk about the debt ceiling and whether it's going to be and whether Biden's doing the right thing. But we'll do that tomorrow.
that means we got to talk about Jim Jordan and Republicans, and that just
Jordan is not materially involved in the debt ceiling. That's McCarthy.
I'm sorry, McCarthy.
Yeah, we would have to talk about that. But
It's hard for me to talk about McCarthy, but we'll do that tomorrow. To put
Okay.
a bow on this, we shall see. I
All
already
right.
know. So
can
that makes
I
me
make a blanket
clairvoyant.
statement? You haven't said a single thing that I disagree with.
Thank you.
I just
That-
have a different opinion about motivations and probable outcomes. That's the only difference.
And I'm telling you,
Everything you've said has been reasonable.
I'm telling you, the NBA, if forced to choose between the money Ja Morant generates and the money generated by everyone else in the league, they're going to choose everyone else in the league over Ja Morant. But we'll see how that plays out.
Okay, how for an NBA team, how many of the 82 games do they play at home?
41.
41. So here's the drill. Everybody in Tennessee motherfucking loves them some Ja Morant. And you know what? They're picking on my man Ja Morant. They're giving him shit about something that's completely legal.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong, dude.
All
Let's-
these elites,
Let's
all these elites are looking down on Ja
With
for
Ja
what he's
Morant-
allowed to
with
do
Ja
in
Mor-
Tennessee. So Ja Morant is every man in Tennessee.
when Ja Morant got hurt,
And
this
if he
year,
doesn't appear in those games, their attendance is going to be slashed
Ja Morant,
significantly.
you're so far outside your lane, and I don't know why you want to
You have
willfully.
to know about a specific sport
You're
to
so
predict
far outside.
outcomes related to
You're
human
so
behavior.
far outside your lane, JD, and your expertise here. But I'm going to allow
I'm not
you
an
to.
expert on dribbling a basketball. Actually, I can dribble a basketball with two hands. I can go left-handed.
You're woefully outside your depth of knowledge
We
about the
mutually
NBA.
agreed that you're more knowledgeable about sports.
But I don't know why you're making
That has
this
nothing to do with
It
humanity.
has everything to do with humanity. Everything.
Are you saying that when
me
people
set-
are
let me-
involved
let
in
me-
sports,
let-
their
let me-
humanity is fundamentally different?
Permit me to set the record straight for you, because you just said something that's completely asinine. I love you, but it's completely asinine.
You don't have to preface
Ja
it with I love you. You can just go, but it's completely asinine.
Ja Morant this year got two things: hurt and suspended, that caused him to miss a number of games at home. Attendance did not drop one iota in his absence. Not one.
Because there was nobody.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
They're
It
not going to
did-
be pissed at their man,
It,
Ja
it, did,
Morant.
it didn't drop. It didn't drop. When he got suspended for the first Instagram incident, attendance remained the same as it was when he was there. So the notion that if the league suspends Ja Morant 41 games, that people in Memphis are going to go, well, I'm not going to go see him because they don't have Ja Morant, that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. They know he has violated the code that is in his contract.
And I'm saying a corporate code of conduct is meaning.
You can call it whatever you want. It's in there. He signed it. He violated. Those are the facts. You can call the NBA whatever you want. That's not going to change the fact that he had a contract with a clause that he violated. Period.
Right.
That's the end of that story.
We've agreed that he violated a clause, but that is not anything to do with morality. It's all to do with image. Hold on, I'm asking a question here. I don't have the answer
Oh my
yet.
God, man. You just want to be difficult today. It's not called an image clause, JD. It's called a morality clause. It's
All right, here we go.
immoral. It's immoral to represent.
Yes, attendance at Memphis Grizzlies games did decrease while Ja Morant was injured. Morant was injured in a game against the Atlanta Hawks on February 5th, 2023. He missed the rest of the regular season and the Grizzlies' first two playoff games. As a result of Morant's injury, the Grizzlies' attendance decreased from 19,750 fans per game to 17,774.
2,000 fans. Okay. 2,000 fans.
But my
You think,
statement was,
you
that,
think,
A, if he's not playing, it decreases. And then my next statement was, when he's injured, they're not pissed at the NBA and trying to prove a point. If the NBA sits his raggedy ass on the bench, right? They're going to be like, well, fuck this. They took our guy from us because he did nothing wrong. I'm
Then-
telling you, most of the people in Tennessee are totally convinced Ja Morant did nothing wrong. If
and
I
then
was
Chuck,
there,
so Chuck's,
I was in that state, I would be
Chuck's,
like, Jesus
Chuck's,
Christ, leave this
Chuck-
guy alone.
Chuck's description of you and those fans is applicable then.
Idiots.
Yes. Yes.
I'm an idiot because I am
Yes.
not going to
Yes.
go watch
Yes.
a Memphis
Yes.
Grizzlies
You're a
game
fucking
without the
idiot.
best player.
You
That makes
and
me an idiot.
the season ticket holders in Tennessee, Memphis, Tennessee are fucking
Not
idiots.
season ticket holders. Hold on. Ticket buyers.
Whatever.
Season ticket holders.
Whatever.
Into this.
Whatever.
Group, they have to go.
Whatever. Whoever comes to the game as a one-time or season ticket holder, if that's your position, Chuck's description of you applies.
I am an idiot.
Yeah, fucking idiot.
You know what I hear when I hear Chuck talking?
What?
Like, God damn it. I didn't make anywhere near this amount of money and I did everything right. I think he's fucking pissed and jealous. That's my assessment.
No. Chuck, again, you're woefully out of your depth.
Okay.
Woefully out of
I'm
your
gonna
depth.
admit I did that on purpose. That was unfair.
You're
I shouldn't
woefully
have done
out
that.
of
I'm sorry,
you're
Chuck, I'm sorry.
woefully out of your depth. What Chuck is trying to do,
So
to,
you're
hold
going
on,
to that
hold
a
on.
lot.
hold on. What Chuck, because you're out of your depth. What
Well, you know
Chuck
what?
is,
And they shouldn't go on television where I can
what
see. The
Chuck
moment they
is,
come on television, we're on equal footing.
what Chuck is trying to do, believe it or not, to set the record straight for you and others in Tennessee, what Chuck is trying to do is help John Morant.
Well, that's
What,
fine, but that's separate from all of this.
let me finish. No, it is not.
Yes, it is.
You just said what you hear from
I'm
Chuck,
trying to help John Morant.
what you hear from Chuck is jealousy and envy.
I withdrew that. It was just an
And
inflammatory.
I want to bring a point of clarification to that
something I
statement.
withdrew?
Even though you withdrew it, there's probably people out there who are feeling what you just said. And
I'm sure there's nobody listening to this.
that's why I want to clarify this. Chuck understands that John Morant is in his footsteps, meaning you're a superstar player in the league, and there's a lot that comes with that. Two, let me finish. Two, you are in the unique position that many of the NBA players don't have, that myself had, Kenny, and Shaq, which is you have an opportunity, even at your young age, to be the face of the league. And because you have that opportunity, you have the chance to do what I did, which is to make more money once you leave the NBA than you ever did as a player. Chuck just signed.
There's no fucking way if he makes $500 million as a player, he'll ever catch up to that.
Chuck
Chuck is
signed.
making more because he didn't make that much in the NBA. He's just really jealous, man.
That's my point. Chuck, that's my point. And I won't even use Chuck. I'll use Steph Curry. Steph Curry, who is still playing in the NBA, just signed an agreement with Under Armour that's going to pay
What
him.
does money have to do with any of this?
You just, oh my.
Everybody's
God.
just pissed because we're not getting that kind of money and we're not brandishing guns.
No, they are not.
That's
What they
just
are trying to
outrageous.
do is make him aware of the fact that you are.
I'm sure he's aware of it, but he's
No,
like,
he's not aware of it. No, he's not aware
he's
of it.
a young
That's the-
man. Young men always do stupid things.
Okay, this is giving me a headache because you want to argue, and I don't want to
I
argue.
agreed with everything you
No,
said.
no, you're not.
What you're
No, you're
saying
not.
is
No,
you're
you're not.
saying that it's meaningful. You're saying that because there's so much money involved, it makes it meaningful. The money is fucking immaterial.
You're wrong.
They're saying, John Morant is violating a basic principle of screwing with large sums of
Which
cash.
is jeopardizing.
It's his choice. He can do that if he wants. It's not immoral.
Oh God! All right, I'm done.
It's not immoral.
I'm done. I'm done with this conversation.
Incomprehensible.
I'm
and we
done with
wish
this
that somebody would
conversation.
give
I am
us
done.
$100 million,
I'm done
and
with
then
this
we wouldn't take
conversation.
out a gun.
I'm done with this conversation. If you want to stay ignorant to this discussion, stay ignorant to it.
I've agreed with everything you said. I'm
No,
just
you are not.
saying
No, you have
that
not. No, you have not.
they are arguing that because he's going to be losing money, it's meaningful. I'm saying it's a fact. Morant is still able to make his own decisions. He's able to decide at the spur of the moment, I don't want this fucking money. I would rather show off my gun right now. And
Then he's not going to make that money.
Pardon me?
Then he's not going to make that money.
We're completely agreed. But everybody's like, he can't do that. And it's like, he keeps doing it. So quit saying he can't do that. And what they're upset about is they're upset that he is not going to get his money. And they imagine themselves and they're like, I would never do that. It's like, who gives a shit if you would never do that?
You don't. So Chuck, he just told you that he has contracts with TNT. He can't go.
Who cares about Chuck's contract with TNT? How does that?
You're not making sense, JD. We need to
factor into this situation.
Because you just said he's jealous of not making that money. He is making that money.
I withdrew that statement. In other words, I'm saying I don't know I cannot tell you what Charles Barkley is thinking. What I can tell you is what he's saying is John Morant is threatening his income stream and his future in the NBA. I'm not going to argue with that, but then he's going on to say he can't do that. And it's like, the fuck he can't, he keeps doing it. So anytime you have a statement of fact, and then you say, well, a human being can't do this, a human being can, and he might.
I can back the tape up. Chuck said, if you want to do that, fine, go do it. You're not going to make $200 million.
Complete agreement.
If you want to do that, go do it.
That's exactly what I'm saying. And he's saying it's a tragedy, and I'm saying it's just the way John Morant.
No, that is how many people have an opportunity to earn generational wealth?
Who cares? It doesn't factor.
It does. It does. It does. How many people? You're not answering the question. How many people have the opportunity to earn generational wealth?
1% of the population.
There you go. There you go. There
you go.
The
next time you play a video like that, I'd like to make a suggestion. Take it from 1080 down to like 720.
All right.
And then I made a mistake. I suggested you make it full screen. That was a mistake.
Yeah. It doesn't matter how. What's important was the message.
Yeah, but the message was useless. It was just useless.
All right. All right.
It's like Morant's going to lose a bunch of money.
Chuck is right. You're an idiot. Men in Tennessee are an idiot because you've never been in those shoes. You don't know. You have
whether I've been in those shoes or not. It has nothing to do with the fucking money. It's going to be unfortunate if he loses his money, but it's not a moral tragedy.
Oh my God. Oh my God, man. All right, I'm done. I'm done.
Okay.
Stay blind.
We've got to find a way to track these things.
Stay blind. This one will be easy. This one will be easy.
2020.
Stay blind. Stay ignorant. That's fine.
Okay. I'm predicting Morant will be playing in the year 2025.
You and I won't even be alive by then. So we'll have to put it in a capsule and bury it. So whoever digs up the capsule, they'll be able to, they'll go to our headstones and go, okay, JD, either you were right or in the headstone over here, Marlon was right. So we'll put it in a capsule.
I don't know.
I do.
Well, you know what? If I had to bet my life on it, I would pick your opinion because you're more knowledgeable. But
it's not that I'm more knowledgeable.
You just keep telling me I'm an idiot and I'm out of my life.
Here's what, it's not that I'm more knowledgeable. I want to be clear about that. It's not that. I am confident that I want to reference the old adage that I used to use. You can take a person out of the ghetto, but you can't take the ghetto out of the person. And that is where we are with John Morant. He wants
to. You just said that John Morant has the ghetto in him.
Gangster. We'll use the term gangster. He wants
Even though he did nothing illegal and nothing immoral. Because he was selected to play.
You've got to stop.
Signed a contract that has a morality clause. The dude is gangsta.
You keep contradicting yourself.
How the hell can this happen? I'm an old white dude, right? I'm an old white dude, and I'm sitting here, and I have absolutely no problem with the job.
You know what? We're going to pick this up. I'm going to invite some guests to our podcast. We're going to pick this up. We're going to invite some third parties and let you hear from the third parties because you keep contradicting yourself. You said he did nothing illegal, nothing immoral. He violated a morality contract.
No, I qualify that. I say that is not a moral concern. What a corporation calls a morality clause doesn't apply. They're not a moral authority. So no, everything I'm saying makes sense. I'm not in.
No, it does not. No, it does not.
All right. John Morant has been filled with a weapon twice. The first time was in March 2023.
Irrelevant.
The time was in May 2023.
All irrelevant.
Morant was suspended for 8 games without pay by the NBA for the first
All
incident.
of what you are stating is irrelevant.
The NBA has not announced. You know what? So Chuck is really doing his friend, Ja, I'm trying to help you, Ja. Let me just misrepresent how many fucking times you've been caught with a weapon. He just lied on national television. He
No, he
made
did
something
not.
up.
No, he did not.
Let's get responsible here.
No, he did not.
Chuck, I'm telling you,
Where
Chuck
did he
is
lie?
wrong
Where did
because
he lie? Where
he
did he lie?
lied on television.
Where did
And
he
it'd be
lie?
like me saying, well, Marlon, I
Where
understand you've
did
been
he
divorced
lie?
6 times. It's like, no, I haven't been divorced 6 times.
Where did he lie?
He said this is the 5th or 6th time that John Morant has been caught in this situation.
It
It's
is.
fucking bullshit. No, it says right here, there have been 2 incidents.
I don't know what you're reading, but it's inaccurate. I don't know what you're reading,
John
but it's
Morant
inaccurate.
has been filled with a weapon.
Whatever you are reading is inaccurate. JD, I beg you.
All right,
You are
so
out of
I'm
your
gonna
depth.
I'm going to
You're
ask
out of
you a
your depth.
favor. Go out on Twitter and say, hey, Chuck, can you tell me the 5 or 6 times that John Morant
The two
did
inst-
this?
the two inst-
Because according to your theory, every single
The
time he did it,
two-
he would have been suspended by the
My
NBA.
God, you are so ignorant.
No,
man.
no, think about this.
I
dare
hate
you.
calling you that. I hate calling you that, but you are. You're showing your ignorance here. He has the 2 Instagram videos.
When he was filmed
He
flashing a
Can
gun
you
the
just
first
do me
time,
a favor? Can you do
time
me a
he was
favor and just be
suspended
quiet?
for 8
Can you
games.
be quiet?
According to your logic and what Chuck was saying, if he has done this 5 or 6 times, then he would have been suspended 5 or 6
He
times. He's only been
had-
suspended once.
This is the 6th incident with Ja Morant.
The 6th incident.
Yes.
How do
He
you
has-
know this?
Because I know the facts.
Okay, I'm asking for the facts. I want facts.
He's had 2 gun video.
You're right, we're going over.
He's had 2 gun video incidents on Instagram, which are the most notable, which everybody knows about.
And they were both in Tennessee, so they're neither illegal nor immoral.
He has an incident on record pointing a laser at a team's opposition bus, which the team believes the laser was attached to a weapon. He has.
The team believes the laser was attached to a weapon. That's not a fact.
It's a third. Yes, it
The team
is.
believes it was John Morant. That's not a fact.
It was Ja Morant. That is a fact.
Okay, so I'm going to give you 3. We're up to 3. What else you got?
There is. I'd have to pull the other 2. I got to pull the other 2. There's
None
one.
of them rises to the level of, it's just like shit you wouldn't do, but that doesn't mean
God,
he would.
JD, I'm done with this conversation, man. I'm
Well,
done
you
with this
started
conversation.
it.
You want to be ignorant to the reality and the facts. It's your choice. Go be ignorant. Go be blind.
Okay, do I have your permission now to be ignorant and blind?
Yes.
What
Because
a
I'm done with
relief.
this I'm done with this conversation because you're unwilling to discuss the reality of this situation. And the reality of this situation is simple. He has a contract that he has to adhere to. He
Agreed.
did not adhere to them.
Agreed.
They're not image clauses, they're fucking morality clauses.
If you
He
insist,
violated a morality clause.
I'm going to agree to be agreeable.
Oh my God. That
So I
took
can agree
over
with
an
you on
hour.
all these things,
That
and my
took
points
over
were
an
not
hour.
about any of those.
What?
My points were not about any of those. We're mutually agreed that he is going to be punished by the NBA.
No. We're
violating
not,
the morality clause.
mutually
What
agreed.
I said was the morality clause from a corporation is not necessarily
It's
a
not
moral
called, it's
issue
not,
because
it's
they're
whether
not a
you
moral
view it,
authority.
whether you view it as moral or not, doesn't matter.
We're
you
agreed.
view-
We're agreed.
Whether you view the NBA as moral or not does not matter.
We're agreed.
He signed a document that stipulates
We're
morality.
agreed. I keep agreeing with you. Where are we headed?
Then why do you keep saying this isn't a morality issue?
Because no corporation can be a moral authority.
Here's what corporations can do. They can put clauses that speak to morality in their agreement with an employer.
Complete
employee.
agreement.
And
Complete
that's what they did.
They
So
did.
whether you view the NBA as being moral or not doesn't matter.
We're agreed. It doesn't
They
matter.
put the clause in the contract.
My
and he
opinion is they're
violated
not a moral authority. That's all I'm saying. I'm not arguing any other aspect of this.
Yes, you are.
And I'm not arguing that he shouldn't be suspended. I'm just
Oh,
saying
he's going to
nothing
be.
illegal and he did nothing immoral. And if somebody says it's immoral because there's a morality clause, I'm saying like, no, I don't agree.
All
That's
right, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done.
Is there a
You know,
it's like you being done?
you sound half intelligent up until you say he didn't violate a morality clause. Yes, he
No,
did.
I said he did nothing immoral.
If he didn't do anything immoral,
Morality is
then
a
why
human
is he
condition,
in
not a
violation?
corporate
If
edict.
if he didn't do anything immoral, then why is he in violation of
Because
the
he
morality?
signed a contract and his morality clause, he violated it. When you sign a contract,
Then how? Then why are you
because
saying he did?
I'm saying it's not immoral. They shouldn't call it a morality clause. They should call it a behavior clause.
Oh my God, you are so woefully out of your depth. All right, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done, man. I'm done.
All right, are you gonna take it?
I'm shutting us. I'm taking us out.
Okay,
Thank
take us
you.
out, man.
Thank you. Apologies for my man, JD.
You
He
said
was
it would go over. You said it would be.
woefully out of your depths, man. But we'll have, you know what? We'll bring, as I said before, we'll bring on some third party and we'll solicit
You
some other
really
opinions.
want to burn more time on this one?
Yes, because I'm trying to educate you because I love
Bring
you.
Chuck on. Can you get Chuck? You know him, don't you?
Oh man, my Chuck story. I love my Chuck story. I'll save that one. I had, this speaks to the person that Chuck
Send him a
is,
link to this video and say, my idiot.
and that's exactly what he would call you.
Yeah, that's fine. Say my idiot friend was lighting you up, and I
Chuck
need you to
doesn't-
come
Chuck
here
does-
and set him straight.
Chuck-
And I'll be
Chuck
like,
Chuck
it's a
doesn't do
pleasure to
so,
meet you, Mr. Barkley. I have great respect for you.
Chuck doesn't do social media because he believes only idiots are on social media.
He
So he
doesn't do
doesn't.
social media because he don't get paid. He does it to get paid. That's why he does it.
No, he doesn't do social media. He doesn't do social
Well,
media
let me tell you what, if I got
because he
caught-
believes that
Well,
everybody
let me tell you
who,
what I wouldn't do. I wouldn't get caught carrying a gun, and I wouldn't do social media.
what?
Everything you're saying makes perfect sense. Why the hell would he do social media and expose himself for no money? The only thing
No. It's not about that. Chuck,
yeah,
Chuck,
if he says
Chuck,
something on social media, it's admissible.
Chuck believes that only idiots are on social media, which is why he doesn't do it.
Okay, hold on. Our podcast is not social media. It's not a Twitter thing. It's just us talking.
Right,
So,
right.
so why wouldn't he join our podcast to set me straight?
Oh, he would, if I could get him
Besides the
on.
fact that we're meaningless and too small and
Right.
fuck are you, and we're never gonna
If
talk
I
to you.
could, if he
Out of your
would come on. He would come on.
if
If I
what?
could get him on, if I could get, because you're right, this isn't social media. This is a podcast, which he does. He and Ernie have the steam room and they talk. Shaq has a podcast. Chuck has a podcast.
Well, they should invite us on their podcast and beat the crap out of me.
Oh, he would.
I'm sure he would, but
would.
it wouldn't matter.
But I don't need Chuck. I don't need Chuck. I can bring on people who are versed as I am in the NBA and know that you can't say he didn't do anything immoral if he's being suspended for violating a morality clause. That
And
makes
I
him
would go
sound
right back to
stupid.
it. I would say a corporation that creates a clause in a contract does not make it moral just because they're like,
Nobody's
"There's a
arguing that.
morality
Nobody's
clause."
nobody's arguing that. Nobody's arguing that.
That was 100% of my point.
No,
I'm
it isn't.
arguing
No,
that
it
a
isn't.
morality clause does not make morality, and it doesn't make something moral or immoral. Now, it might go to concepts of moral and immoral. Let me tell you what would be immoral is if he shot somebody.
No, that's a crime. That has nothing to do
And
with
it's
morality. That's a
also
crime.
immoral.
That's a crime. No,
And
that's a
you can
crime.
Go to
That's a crime.
moral
That,
authority.
apples and oranges. Apples and oranges. That's a crime. That's a crime. That's not a
It's
moral
a
issue.
Moral
That's
component.
anyway. We thank you for joining
No,
us.
If
No,
you
no, no.
had
No, no,
a
no, I'm done with
clause
this. I'm
in the
done with-
morality clause for the
I'm done
NBA
with this.
that says if you kill somebody, you're suspended,
I'm done with this conversation.
Because there's independent morality associated with that.
I'm
That would
done.
be a violation of an individual.
I am done with
Everything
this.
Morant has done so far is all image based. It's like you're making us look bad. He hadn't killed
The
anybody.
clause is not, the
Anybody,
clause
any money.
is not called an image clause. It is not called that.
It ought to be, or a behavior clause.
You can believe whatever the fuck you want to believe. It's not called that.
I do. I believe what I believe.
It's not called that.
God, you look
wanna
so
talk about
honest.
facts. You screaming at me about facts. Here's the fact. The contract does not have an image clause. It has a morality clause.
Because I'm a corporation and I use the word morality. That doesn't mean anything.
It means
To
John
me.
Morant's ass is
To me.
suspended. It means that. And John Morant is working
Agreed.
his way out of the
Signed it.
league.
He signed the
That's what it
contract, so
means.
he's in
That's
for a
what
penny, in
that
for a pound.
means. Whether or not you view the NBA as moral or not is the part that's meaningless. He signed a contract. It had a clause. It's not called an image clause. It's called a fucking morality clause.
We're on our fifth or sixth lather, rinse, repeat.
I don't know
agreeing
why.
with
I
you
don't
again.
know. You're like a Republican almost, where you're trying to
Oh my
you're
God,
like
that
a
is such an insult.
Republican. You're like fucking Kevin McCarthy right now, where you're just trying to
That is
argue.
such an insult. I can't believe you said that to me.
Well, because you are.
You're hurting my feelings calling me a Republican.
Well, that's what you're doing. That's what you're
No.
doing. You're arguing fact. You're arguing fact.
Yeah, I'm arguing facts. I'm presenting facts. You got me there.
No, you're not presenting facts. You're arguing facts.
I haven't said anything that isn't factual, except that some things are opinions, not facts. I'm saying that a morality clause that's in a corporation's contract does not define morality. It can have things that would be considered adjacent to morality, but the corporation is not a moral authority. Let me tell you why. I can
They
prove
don't
it.
have to be. They don't
I can prove
have
it.
to be.
I
They
can
don't.
prove it.
That's one of the best things you've said. They don't have to be. They don't have to be
But I can
moral.
prove why it's not. It's
They don't
not
have
moral
to be a
authority.
moral authority. All they have to do is stipulate, if you want to represent us, you have to follow moral guidelines that are stipulated.
No, they're moral adjacent because the morality aspect is elsewhere in the world. So watch this. You ready? Watch this.
Oh my God.
So the NBA has a morality clause. And if you sign this contract and you brush your teeth, you will be in violation of our morality clause. And I'm like, well, I just lost $200 million because I brushed my teeth because it's immoral. And you're like, what do you mean it's immoral? It's like, well, it says the morality clause, if I brush my teeth, that I get suspended and I'll lose my contract. And you're like, it's not a moral thing. No corporation can define morality. That's what I'm saying. The word
wrong.
morality
You're
should have
wrong.
something to do with morals. This
You're
is
wrong.
just
You're
behavior
wrong.
and
And
image.
you're wrong, and you're making yourself sound stupid. So I'm going to close out today's session. You really are, man. And it
That's
just,
ad hominem attack. The Republican, now I'm sounding stupid.
well, this is
You know
why
what? If I am a Republican, then I am stupid. That is true.
this is why I'm Mr. Disruptive. You really have done yourself a disservice here. So we should shut down this episode. We'll bring on a third party who I don't need Chuck. I can bring on anybody with a decent depth of knowledge about
Marlon,
the
what use
NBA.
am I if I completely agree with you on everything?
This you should be agreeing with me on, because we're
I agree with you on everything except the concept that he did something illegal or immoral.
he's not being suspended for violation of an image clause. He's being suspended for violation of a morality clause. That's a fact. End of story. End of podcast.
Okay, you're the boss. Do the subscription thing.
Like us. I don't know how much they'll like this one. Oh no, this one might be the one that they do like, because we had fire.
No, we got no fire. We just got nonsense.
That too. And I want to give a shout out as we close today. And I know many are going to think I'm hating here, and I'm not hating. Although part of me is. I'm not hating here, but I want to give a shout out and sincere congratulations to Pat McAfee, whose Pat McAfee podcast is being picked up, and he is signing a contract with ESPN.
Well, he better not brandish a weapon.
No, because that will be the end of his podcast on ESPN if he does. But shout out to Pat McAfee and his podcast.
I hope they have a morality clause where he has to wear a fucking shirt.
Well, that's not a morality issue.
According to you, it is.
No, you can come on you can come on your podcast without a shirt. That's not immoral. Brandishing a gun in a club is immoral. Shout out to Pat. God, how do I say this?
I'm a bobble.
His podcast is not my cup of tea, but I applaud him in his success. I like Pat McAfee more and better as a contributor to another one of my favorite shows, College Game Day, ESPN's Football College Game Day, because he's joined that cast, and he's bringing energy, excitement to the show there. And I'm not a big fan of his podcast, but hey, ESPN signed him to a deal, so hats off and kudos to him. We should be so lucky to be signed by ESPN.
Yeah, I'm not jealous of him.
No. Do I like his podcast? No, but hey, again, that's a bar that you
know what I'm doing? I'm walking a thin line. I'm brandishing a pencil, and our podcast morality clause says I can't brandish a pencil.
Well, then I'll be doing the next episode by myself, as JD will be serving a suspension from First World Third Rails. Like us, give us your comments, and most of all, please subscribe. We promise to be better, and we do have to talk about the debt ceiling. We do have to talk about Republicans, which just turns my stomach.
Well, I'm one now. You made me one. Thanks.
Yes, you're welcome. I'll be coming off too, as a side note, housekeeping. I'll be coming off my suspension tomorrow. So
on Twitter?
Yes, it'll be interesting to see if I go right.
Violate the morality clause?
No, I violated their rules. I didn't argue that. I took my punishment. 6 days ends tomorrow.
Oh, you mean they gave you an option to not be suspended? And you're like, no, I'll be suspended and take my punishment.
No, they didn't give me an option. They just viewed
what you didn't take it. You can't accept something that you don't have a choice in.
Yeah, well, true. Well, yeah, I can. Yeah, I can. I can choose to disable the app and never come back. I can make that choice.
Yes.
Thank you, my friends. Fire and ice. We're fire and ice today. I love you too, brother. We'll pick back up tomorrow.
All righty. Bye.
All right, man.